Hello. I'm eating a cookie. I don't know why I decided to put that piece in my mouth right before it was time to start. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope if you have a cookie, you're enjoying it. I am. We are back with some casual coding. And today we're going to take a little break from the Charity Activations app because we're going to be doing some stuff on it during distributed tea time, which is happens on Friday, every other Friday, at 9:30 Eastern, I think 2:30 British time. So I will be joined with my colleague Rob, and we'll be going through using change data capture webhook sync, and so that's how we're going to handle the real-time aspect of the Charity application. So it gives me some time to do something else, and I am, for some reason, working on 4 different applications at one time, because why not? You never know. Oh, hey, bud. What do you got? He's not going to stop and tell me. It's one of his little pizza slices. So yeah, working on multiple things. Forever working on kind of the stream app that runs my scenes and the fun little stuff. I picked back up Roach Mart. So 10 months ago, you might remember me building that on stream, but I never really put it out there for anyone. And so I decided to pick it up because we've had some improvements made to our real level TTL, so we can support some types of foreign keys. So I was able to clean up the database a little bit. I upgraded everything to the latest and greatest packages and changed some things out to the way I'm working with Remix now. And then I also styled it because I'm better at that now. So instead of using Chakra UI, I ripped all that out because it's very weird. And I put in Tailwind that I've been using. And I was able to get it all nice and styled. I got some help from my coworker Paul, so it all looks very nice on mobile as well. So I've been trying to do things mobile first, but I've come to find out that it's I'm not bad at CSS, I'm bad at design. I have this toolbox full of tools, but sometimes I grab a wrench when I need a hammer. And so we went through some discussions of what does this look like on a desktop versus what does this look on the mobile. And part of the problem was when I was given the design. So we have a wonderful design team who took some time to show me what Roach Mart should look like. I only got designs for the desktop, so it was kind of up to me to figure out what the rest of it looked like. And so luckily I have help doing that. So hopefully you'll see that soon. I got it all done except for one little glitch that's happening with the countdown. What else? Okay, charity activations, and then the one that we're going to be working on today. So as many of you know, I have a Corgi. His name is Atticus. I live in New York, and there are a couple Corgi meetups that happen monthly. So with the weather starting to be nice again, they've started happening again. And the big one is called Corgis of NYC. They have a Instagram account. Maybe I'll bring that up too. They have an Instagram account, and they do everything through the Instagram because it's easy for them. So we don't have a specific place, a specific dog park that we go to whenever we do these meetups. They put them out there to vote. So they give you 4 choices, and you choose one, and then they give you 4 choices for dates and times. So it's usually 2 consecutive weekends. You can choose a Saturday or the Saturday or the Sunday. And then whatever gets the most votes, that's where the location and the date and time are going to be. But it's getting a little unruly for them to handle all of that because it is kind of an influencer account as well. We end up getting over 1,500 votes during this voting period, and I can tell you there's not 1,500 corgis that show up for these. So I think our minimum is 40 to 50, but we've had up to 200 show up, and it's quite a sight to see. If you've never seen 200 corgis in a dog park just wreaking havoc on the poor large dogs, then they're just being herded around. Um, and so I was like, I can build a website. And so we're trying to solve a couple things. One, we don't have any kind of like contact list for our members. Um, so we want to be able to gather that information, like name, phone number, address. I'm also asking for zip code, because then we kind of get an idea of the distribution by borough. Because as it turns out, boroughs have certain zip codes. You can figure things out. So part of it is making a way for members to sign up, and then we want to use that member list to solicit votes. So either via text, fully on the mobile, or via email. I'm still trying to decide which one I want to do. We have no budget to do any of this, so I'm using all these wonderful free tiers like CockroachDB, serverless for the backend. And I am only using a single region cluster for that, because if you are outside of the New York area, we don't need to worry about your latency. You're probably not coming to all of them. I'm also like hosting this on Netlify, so I need to decide if I want to spend a little bit of money to be able to do this using Twilio, because if you get a phone number, then you are committed to at least $1 each month, and then you have to pay for each message that's sent. There used to be a lot of really good free tiers for email out there. I think Mailgun has the best one right now, so maybe I'll look into doing that. But what I want to do is kind of, if you think about unsubscribing from a mailing list, right? A lot of times you don't have to log in. It's just everything is in the link. So I want to be able to create links that we can send out, and then they'll be able to vote using that link, and we'll know who they are because of the link that they use. Pretty easy to do. So that's how I want to do that. I don't want to have to worry with like auth for everybody. I just don't like having people to worry about like creating a password, especially when the only thing that they're going to be doing is this voting. So they've signed up and they've voted. Maybe I'll do like a profile center later so they can go in and like change their phone number or change their email. That can easily be done with a link as well. So yeah, working on that. And the other thing is we're going to be handling voting, but we're going to do ranked choice voting, because many times you're like, oh, I can do these 3 days, but I can't do this fourth. And so you just have to like pick one of the days and hope that it's the best one. So I'm going to implement ranked choice voting so they can be like, I like this date, this date, this date, and then this date. And then from there we can figure out, we can like do a better job of trying to accommodate more people with the locations and the dates. So we're going to be doing ranked choice voting, and I have a wiki page if you don't know what ranked choice voting is. It's getting to be pretty popular. We just implemented it in New York. So instead of voting for one person, you can vote for more, and it's supposed to give you kind of the liberty to like really vote for who you want. So if you really want that Green Party candidate or that other third party candidate, you can vote for them as number one, but then vote for one of the two party candidates that you are really behind, so that way it doesn't feel like you're like throwing your vote away. I hear there are downsides, and maybe in New York we hit one of those recently, but we'll see how it goes. But also I think it's going to be an interesting to do this ranked choice voting and see how much we can do like in the database. So I can go through the app what I have right now. It's all being done in Remix. It's all backed by CockroachDB. We're using Prisma to connect to the database, and then Netlify for the hosting, and that's as far as I've gotten. Today I want to tackle creating the schema for voting, and so that's going to include like a locations table, so where we can put information about the different dog parks that we can select from, and then kind of the voting tables, because they need to be able to vote for locations and times. Yeah, So let's get started.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a bite of a cookie while I'm changing, hitting buttons around. So if you are on the Instagram, and I can copy, I can't copy and paste it in. Man, I am not set up for this. It's just Corgis _ NYC. And you can see, all of the different meetups. You'll probably see me and Atticus in there a few times. And then they have different stories. So it's the stories that they're using right now to do the voting. And so they're doing like question answers, and they're like, there's no wrong answer, just pick one, because you can see like which option people chose. Okay. Oh, I do want to mention, and this is, my stream might run a little short today because I need to head to the office for this, but we are having our engineering open house tonight at our New York headquarters in Chelsea. So if you're in New York and you haven't signed up, sign up, come by, say hi to me, say hi to any of our engineers, the management, the CTO even. There's going to be a panel that should be cool. But come by. Oh, we've got an agenda. So from 6 to 8, fun networking. If the weather holds up, we have a really nice roof deck with some nice views of New York.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, not now. Not now. Okay. I wish I could put this URL in there. I gotta figure out how to do the chat because it's on a different computer. Yeah. cockroachlabs.swogo.com/eng_open_house_NYC. So yeah, come by if you see this and you're interested, and I can try to like bring the page up again. Oh yeah, before we start, so exciting day, released yesterday. Does it say when yesterday? At 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, version 1.18 of Remix came out. So this is exciting because the new V2 dev server is now stable. So we no longer have to use the unstable dev flag. We can now use the V2 flag. So we'll fix that because I'm using the unstable one, and we'll upgrade our Remix as well. Other things that came out, JSON and text submissions. So if you're not a fan of form data, I've actually grown to love form data. I had a problem, like I wanted JSON at the beginning, but it just turned out I was not doing something right, and so I figured it out, and now I'm pretty okay. Like I think there are situations where it might be helpful, especially if you are using like resource routes to... No? Never mind. That doesn't make sense. I'm already doing resource routes with JSON. I'm sure there's a reason everybody wanted it, but yeah, it's there now. So we got some performance improvements, 2x faster builds, 3x faster rebuilds, 4x speedups, 10 to 20x speedups. Yeah. For apps with hundreds of manually defined routes. So that's pretty cool. All right. So the first thing I want to do, and I'm going to close this now. We're done. We talked about it. We're excited. This is my repo. It's under my GitHub name, which is just my first name, because I got it really early. And it's just Corgis of NYC with hyphens instead of underscores. And it is a remix app. So let's start. And so my goal today is to start working on, to get pretty far on working on the voting system. I'm not going to worry about like the unique links or anything because I'm basically going to be building out the full stack component that handles the submission. And I can show you how far I've gotten. Yeah, And then I'll worry about kind of that unique stuff later, because I just need a place to put that component so we can kind of start seeing how everything's working. Yeah, so let's start by, I always like to do npm outdated and see what happened, or like what's out of date. So we've got a new version of Conform 2 React. So we just went, it was a patch release. And then we've got a lot of remix run. So going from our 1.17.1 to 1.18. So we'll go ahead and update that as well. Some React types updated. We got a patch release for the class variance authority. And then the loose side React, those are icons that I've been using. So if you know Shad, who does Shad UI and a whole bunch of other things, this is like his icons package. And because I'm using his UI components, just pulling in that as well. So I'm just going to do npm upgrade cookie okay. Still going. I love doing like live demos whenever you have to like do an npm install or an npm upgrade. You never know. At least I know my internet's goodish, better than say like a conference. I hope so, at least. But this is taking its sweet little time. Some other updates that I noticed with Remix 1.18 is they changed the way they do some of the ESLint rules. So they are starting with kind of the recommended ones and then adding on their own. So they mentioned that you might see some new warnings because we're now using all the recommended ones. And I think I need to look at the issue, but I think that was one that Josh Goldberg was advocating for. So he might even put in the PR for it. Okay, there we go. Lots of packages that are unhappy, but I think now I need to do npm install loose side at loose side react at latest, so that way we can pick up that one. Since it's a sub-zero release, sub-zero dot, then everything could be breaking, but they're just icons. I think it's fine. All right, so if we did npm outdated, we should all be good. We should all be good. Thank you. All right, nothing. Awesome. All right, so let's go over to our app. The one thing that we need to do because we upgraded Remix is go over to our Remix config. And, oh, apparently I wasn't using the unstable version on this. That's fine. Let's add it. So before it would have said unstable dev. Now now we can just do v2 dev. True. And let me take a look at, I think this is fine for the server. Let's take a quick look at the server template for Netlify and see if they added anything. I know for Node.js backed applications, they need to have like a broadcast ready type thing. What I said was close. No, not me. Remix. So hopefully all these have been merged in because that's now part of it. So if we go into templates and we look at Netlify, and here's our server.ts, which, yeah, our server.ts, it looks the same. Okay, so we should be good. And we can use the new dev server that's got the hot module reloading and all of that stuff. So let's close that, get that out of the way. Let's start it up. So we're gonna do npm run dev, and I'll show you what we have so far with the Corgis website. Cookie time. Oh no! Oh! I think this is the first time I've started up on this computer. That means that my .im file isn't there. And sure enough, it's not there. Okay, no need to panic. We can just create it. Normally I would like run upstairs and grab my laptop and move it, but I can just create a new one. So let's create a .im file. And we need... Let's take a look inside of our app, inside of utils. Oh, I didn't even do that yet. Okay. So we do need a database URL for Prisma, and I think we also need a secret. So let's do database URL equals, and then the other one that we need is, I think if we look inside of, oh, I haven't done that yet. This actually might be the only one that we need, is the database URL so far, because I haven't built any kind of admin backend yet. So I'm just kind of doing the front end. My hope is we can get enough of it out so people can start like registering, and then I'll build the back end to so we can like manage it. It's just gonna be like 3 users, me and the 2 organizers. So okay, so let's go grab the database URL. I'm gonna do that by logging into Cockroach Cloud, and this one is on my personal site, which I think I fixed it to where I can get to it from this because it's a member of the organization. So let's change this to Adrian Howard's organization. Cool. So we've got I've got 2 clusters, Minty Rabbit and Speedy Sonic. Speedy Sonic is my AWS cluster that I put a lot of my stuff, so like my stream stuff is on here, and I put this on there as well. But basically I just have a cluster for each cloud depending on where I'm deploying things. When I'm using things like Netlify functions, I know that those are going to AWS US East 1, so there's my US East 1 single node cluster. And we got IP allow listing now available. So if you want to say only allow the following IPs to connect to my database, well, you can do that. So hooray for security. Okay, but what we want to do is go to the connect, and we want the Corgis of NYC user, we want the Corgis of NYC database, and we want the general connection string. And I'm just going to copy that, and then I'll paste this in, and this is like probably the last you're ever going to see of this file because I'm not sharing my secrets. So let me hit save real quick. Let me go to off screen. So hi, can't see my screen now. I gotta go and grab that password. I store all of my passwords inside of one password. So I just create a little section. Hey, Paperly. Hello. Konnichiwa. Hello. That's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna find it. Okay, let's click on the right thing. And let's go under Speedy Sonic. There's Corgis of NYC. I'm gonna put this password in. Bloop. And save it. And close that file. And I'll just close this. We don't need that open anymore. Back to programming. Hey. Now I'm wondering if I have done an npm install since I moved this onto this computer. So let's do that as well, just for good measure. So we're going to do npm install. Make sure we take care of any packages that we haven't pulled down. then also, because, do I have the hook in there? Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if I got the hook. That was really bad. Okay, post install Prisma generate. So it should have, yeah, there's where it's generating our client. So we're good there. So now we should be able to run it. Let's do npm run dev. Starting, building, built. It's running. Okay. So let's navigate to our local host. So this is what people get to right now because we're trying to kind of mask the functionality of it right now, and so this is nice and mobile responsive. So like, ooh, oh well, it's not the greatest. Let's see, 320 is like, I hear the lowest. 18, 20, yeah. So it's not terrible. Some things that should be centered are not centered. I need to fix that. Ooh, that's an interesting breakpoint. But there's nothing much there. So we've got the about page. Wonderful. And then this is also should work really nicely on mobile. So we're nice and responsive there. So this is just a little background information that I got from the organizers. And then we have the start of a code of conduct. So this is just some lore medicine right now, but it's very important that if you have any kind of community group that you have a code of conduct that you make sure that they read and agree to. So that way we can avoid dogs with bad tempers and things like that. Just trying to reduce any kind of friction that we would have to hosting an event. And then the last thing that we have is, I gotta see what the name of it is. So if we go back to our routes, our public stuff, we got join. Join is what I called it. So join, where you can fill out information about yourself and your corgi, but you might have multiple corgis, so you can be like, I have another corgi, and so you can fill out, if you have 20 corgis, bless you, you have more patience than I do, but we can keep adding them, and all of this was done very easily using the conform to. So I did it right this time. Like, conform2 is taking care of all of the data and it's being validated by Zod. And what's cool is, like, if you fill out one and you're like, oh, I want to delete the other one, then you can. Order doesn't really matter, but what does matter is that we have at least one corgi, because we want people who join to be corgi owners. So I have like this idea that eventually we'll do like a corgi catalog, which might be a throwback to my very first Cockroach TV application using Prisma, not so successfully, but we're gonna build it into this. Okay, and then that goes into the database. You can see our schema here. Our Prisma schema. So we've got members, and then members have corgis. And what I'm doing is, this is a many-to-many relationship. So a member could have multiple corgis. A corgi could have multiple parents. I haven't built that in yet, but if like each parent wanted to like sign up and then it goes to the same corgi, then it could. But this is a implicit many-to-many relationship. So there is a table that is being created that handles this, because and we can do this because we're not like storing any extra metadata with that relationship. So it's something cool that like Prisma just takes care of for you. If I was to generate the ER diagram, we would probably see it. And then we got the user, which I think it's just me right now, but I haven't built in like authentication or anything yet. So that's our schema, and that's pretty much where we are today. This also is, I almost said blacklight responsive, but responsive, mobilely responsive. So if you have multiple Corgis, it just grows. Yeah. Because, yeah, so I feel like the majority of our users are going to be mobile anyway. So why not make it mobile first? But if you are using it on a desktop, it does look a little nicer. We're using kind of more of the width. I've got multiple fields on the same page. They're on the same line. Yeah. Mobile responsive design is fun. It's fun now. It didn't used to be. It is now. So, yeah. Cookie. So what I need to do, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk with my mouth full. We're going to create another page like this for voting, and we're going to have the form where it will bring up the location and the dates, and you'll be able to rank them 1 to 4 and submit your vote. So yeah, let's do it. I think I'm supposed to be like do the thing on the TikTok where like they slap the table and like, let's go, and then all of my desk is shaking now. So okay, so let's model out the data. So we have members. Corgis aren't going to be voting. Sorry, fellas. But we are going to need, for locations, I think it would be nice to have kind of a list of locations that you can choose from. So I did something like that in another one. But then the dates, we can just let them enter 4 dates for the choices. So I think we gotta figure. Oh, we gotta attach these to an event. So I gotta think of like the workflow for this. So whenever we're actually creating this is kind of out of order. We'll have an event, and then each event will have votes, or elections, I guess. That doesn't sound right. They will have a way to pick the location and the date, and then like the winners of those will be the location and date for the event. And so let's first start by modeling the event, and we'll do just what we need. So let's say model event. I'm gonna steal the ID because we are going to use a UUID. Oh my gosh, it's warm. I'm gonna turn my fan. We are going to use a UUID, and it's just going to be a generated UUID. So we're going to let the database do that. So there we go. What are we going to call it? We're going to give it a name, just like an event name, yeah, which is going to be a string. And then we're going to have an event date. I think we need a start date and an end date, because we're gonna be using time, and time is fun. This is what I've found out recently. Oh no, I didn't set the type here. I want to make sure that this is a db.timestamp tz, and we're just going to use 6 because we don't need like sub-seconds. Man, everywhere. I just left out the database type. It's fine. Did I Did I do anything here? Yeah, there. Okay. So we're gonna have a start date, and that is going to be date time, and it's going to be that. But we want these to be able to be null because the start and the end date will be determined by the vote. So I'm going to make this date time question mark. Let's just copy this. And then we need an end date. And wow, okay, we got that. And so let's do a map because I like things in my database to look a certain way. So it's going to be start underscore date and end underscore date. So that's going to have our date and time. Let's do our created at in there, just something nice. We're going to have a location, but that is going to be a reference to a location. So for right now, we can just do location ID, and that is going to be a string because the ID of the location will be a it will be a UUID. Oh my gosh. But again, that's gonna be not required because we won't know until it gets voted for. I think this is like, I think what we'll want to do is so this is the way I'm going is we'll have the votes and everything, and then the winner will copy that ID or the values over, so that way we don't have to like discover the winner each time. So in the long run, I think that will be fine, and then that will also signify that like it's done. We've picked the winner, and we don't need to show this anymore. Or people can stop voting, or we won't allow people to vote. So we've got the location ID string. It's going to be a type UUID. Okay. So we got the date and the time, or the date, time, and the location. We've got a name. Let's do a created by. So created by, and we're just going to keep track of the user who created it. Created by, it's going to be DB UUID. I haven't put any of the relations in yet, but I can go ahead and put in this one. So this is the creator is going to be a member, and so we've got relation fields is the created by, and no, I don't want to do that. References, that's what it is. References, there it is. ID. On update, say no action. On delete, we'll also say no action. So what we're deciding is if the user gets updated, what do we want to happen kind of to this field in this table? And if it's updated, there's not really anything we can do because we're probably not going to update their ID because that's the primary key. And then on a delete, we could have it cascade, and so if the user was deleted, it could delete all of its events. But we probably don't want that. Like if there's a change in leadership, we probably don't want it to delete, old, like archived meetups. So we're gonna set that to no action. Like if we do have a situation where like somebody leaves leadership and someone comes in, we can always create some kind of script or function that will go through and like, rewrite or something. I don't know what it is, but so whenever I hit save here, if you look, we go up to the member, and it's the user. Okay, so this is the user, and we're gonna take out this member stuff. Oh no! Hold on, give me a second, because I put it in the wrong place. Okay. So there we go. And we'll just make this events. Invents. Nope. Events. So that way now we have kind of the relationship to the user to see all of the meetups that they created. Cool. So we have an event. We have the location ID, which needs a relationship, so we need a location table. Let's go ahead and make that. Oh, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to do a top level at map, and this is going to be events. So in the database, it will be stored in a table called events instead of one that's event with uppercase. I love the at map. Okay, so let's do the model for locations. For location, and let me pull up the list that they sent me because that will help with what we should name things. But I'll go ahead and put the nap in. This be locations. All right, let's pull this up. Send an email, big long email. Corgi. I'm in the wrong email box. This is thrilling stuff going on right now. Corgi. Here we go. Let's see. So we've got dog park. So we got the dog park name. We've got, and then they gave us what borough it's in. Or well, it's not so much the borough. It's what what's smaller. What do we call it? Like neighborhoods, I guess. So like the dog run on the Upper West Side, the dog run in the West Village, in the East Village, in Brooklyn, in Astoria, Queens. And they didn't go any further. I think what I'll do is, again, I will take the zip code. So we do need an ID. So again, I'm going to take this ID because I don't like typing this every time. And then we need name, which is a string. It's going to be required. Everything has a name. And then let's do zip code. And I'm just going to steal that. And that's probably good for right now. I would love to do like an image URL. So that way, like whenever they vote, they can like see what the which park like see a picture of it instead of just a name. But we'll start with that. And that will give us a location table. And we can now add the location. So location, which is from the location table, it has a relationship. Fields is the location ID, and it references the ID on that model. And then we do on update. I'm going to do no action, and on delete I'm also going to do no action. Yeah, I hope I like, we're the ones creating the app. Like I just we won't delete the location. I think maybe what we can do is like mark it as inactive. So that might be a good thing to add to the location table. So like for a long time, it's like, do you actually want to delete the data from the table, or do you want to mark something as inactive? The good thing about marking something as inactive is it still exists in the table, the references still work. If you delete data, anything that references it, you have to take that into account and decide what you're going to do with that. And so that's just part of the thing of relational databases, where what you could do is like, instead of having relationships in the tables, you just we would put like location name on there. So if it got deleted, we could still show like the location name, but there'd be nothing to link back to. So like copying over like attributes from one table to the other table, so that way they're kind of always baked into that row. But then you have the problem of like, oh, what if we've updated the name of this dog park? Then you have to do like a fanning out to like update all of that stuff. Not the most fun. Okay. So saving that, and now we have events over here, and I'm gonna make that lowercase. And so what this does is like we now have the ability to pull up all of the events that happen at that location. Cookie time. Let's go ahead and add a Boolean, and we'll just say is active. And I'm gonna map it to map. There we go. Is active. And then I'm going to give this a default. So we're just going to say default true. Oh, okay, yeah. So because this ID is optional, we need to make this optional as well. Because if there's nothing in there, then there's no relationship to null. And that's fine. So we're not actually attaching an event to a location to the event until the location has been decided. So now we need trying to think. So we need a table to hold votes for locations, and we need a table to hold votes for date times. Let's start with the locations because everything should be here now. So this is, and I have, Rob and I talked about this, and we kind of wrote up some schema. So this is going to be our location votes. It needs to start with the word model. What time is it? Okay. I do have to go to the office, so I gotta pay attention to the time. Location votes. And so this is going to need. We need to know which event they're voting on. So we need an event ID, which is a string, which is also a db.uuid. And then it's mad at me because we haven't defined a key yet, but we'll do that here shortly. So we also need to know what location was voted for. So we need a location ID, which is a string, which is a db.uuid. And I hit the wrong button. We need to know who voted for this, and that is a member ID. So we got a member ID. String at db.uuid. And then we need to know the rank. And then we need to know the rank. So this is ranked choice voting. I think what did we call it? I closed the window I had. Hold on. Okay. Something else that we can think of for this, which is kind of cool. We have, so you put preference order. I think I'm just going to call it rank order because it is ranked choice voting. So we're going to say, or just rank, I think. Yeah, well, you rank it. You rank it 1 through 4. So rank, which is going to be an int. But we want to do so that's going to be required because you gotta rank. Well, no. Yes, wait. A vote has to have a rank. There could be a situation where it's like I only want to vote for the first 2, and then so they're just letting whatever happen. But if we're inserting a vote, then it needs to have a rank. And so that's an int, and we want this to be db.int int4. And so this is, if you didn't specify this and you just let it pick the regular int, our default int is like a 64-bit int, which is a big int, and then you have to deal with all that. But actually, we could probably do int 2 because we only want the numbers 1 through 4. You know what? Let's. I know 1 through 4 is going to be in there, but db int 2. All right. How about cockroach db int 2. And int 2 is a small int, a 16-bit integer. So, you know, we've got negative 32,768 to positive 32,767 in an int 2. Int 4 is a 36 one. And then int 8, which is our default, is 64-bit, which turns into a big int in JavaScript. And so then you have to deal with all of that parsing. So we're just going to do an int 2. It's small. It's fine. Yeah. So there's that. And now we need the key. And the primary key is gonna be all of these things? It's gonna be a compound key with all of these? Let's do our map. I want this to be called location votes. And then we need ID. Let me think. So these are going to be unique. We only want one person to vote 4 times, up to 4 times, because they have 4 ranks. And so it's going to be unique by the event ID, the location ID, the member ID, and the rank. Let me look at my notes. They did a check, which I'm pretty sure Prisma can't handle that. So if we did like a check constraint on there, we can make sure that we could put a constraint in the database, making sure that the int could only be values 1 through 4, which is fine. All right, but Prisma requires a primary key. We require one as well, but if you don't put one in, then we make one for you called the row ID. So let's do event ID, location ID, member ID, rank. Now it's happy. We have an ID. And now we've got some relations to create. Or like, do we care? Like, I want the foreign key constraint, but I don't really care about the relation. So like, what I'm saying is, if you put a value in for event ID, it needs to be in that event table. Like, you can't just put in any UUID. So I guess if I'm going to use it or not, I need to put these relations in. So this is going to be the event, which is an event, which has a relation. The fields, event ID, the references, the ID in that table. So for this one, on update we'll still do no action, but delete, if they delete the event, then we'll just say cascade. So on delete, cascade. So it deletes the vote. Cool. I'm gonna copy this. Okay, and so we also need the location, and that is a location, and location ID. And the same thing, if we delete the location, might as well delete the vote. It's fine. And then one more, the member. So this is the person who voted. It is of type member. It uses the member ID, references ID, and same thing. So these are really ephemeral, the votes. Like, once we have moved the winner into the event, then like we don't care about it anymore. Yeah. So I think this is fine. If we go up, we'll notice that like now we have all these like location votes. I'm just gonna put that like that. Location votes and members have location votes. So it's like you can see if you for some reason wanted to see all the votes they've ever made, you can. But I think what we want to do, kind of going back to one of the features that we have, is we'll use our row level TTL to put an expiration on this votes table. So, we don't care about the votes after like say 30 days. So that way it stops this table from growing. Because if you think about it, we're going to have 4x the number of rows per event per member. So that's a lot of rows really quickly, and we don't care about the result after we've decided. So like maybe we'll say 60 days just to be safe, but we don't need to keep these around. So I'm just going to put a little note in here, and we're going to say add row level TTL of, let's say, 60 days. Unfortunately, right now, to add row level TTL, we need to do that afterwards. Like, you can't tell Prisma to also make this row level TTL. So I will build like a little script that we can execute afterwards. Okay, so there's the location votes. Not bad. And so now we need to do it for the dates. And the big difference here is there's not going to be a list of dates. So that's something, they'll be able to pick 4 dates whenever they do it. So we'll have to store those dates as options. And so I gotta think about that. Man, will I be able to like program anything, or are we just gonna be talking about schema all day today? Maybe we will. So now we've got date votes. And it's going to look similar. So we're going to map this to date votes. And we still need these 3 things. Oh, well, 2 of those things. Actually, I'm going to move this up. I don't think it cares about the order, so I'm going to reorder these so it makes sense to me. Okay. So now we know we need these 2 things. And I can go ahead and start with the ID. So we know it's going to be an event ID and a member ID. I think I'm going to move these around too. I think the order here matters based on how you like look things up. So we got the event. And so for this, we need the start date and the end date. Oh, we also need the rank. I was like, should those go into a different table? They're event date choices. And maybe we should So I'm thinking when they create the event, they would have to specify 4 different dates, and those would need to be saved in their own table with the event ID. Okay, so let's do another model. We're going to do a model, event, date, options. And it's going to have an ID. So let's go grab that. And so this is the event where it's going to have a start date and an end date. Let's steal that stuff from up here. From the event. That's the location. There's the event. Except these are not going to be optional. So let's take these out. And we need the event date. Or the event ID. Event ID, which is a string, which is a db.uuid. And then let's add the relation. The event is an event with a relation with using the fields. Oh, come on, fields. Event ID that references the ID. And for this one, let's see, on update. I really need to see like what the default for that is. On update is no action. I think it might be no action. And then on delete, we are going to say cascade. So if you delete the event, let's delete the options for it. And I think this is another one where we will end up putting a row level TTL on there, so that way this just doesn't grow out of hand, because once we select the dates, we'll copy those into the event and you'll be good. Yeah, so we've got that. So let's put our little note on here for our row level TTL. And we'll do the same thing for this. And so just going up here, so we're just gonna call this field date options because we know it's the event. Cool. And so every event will have multiple date options. They'll actually have up to 4, but I don't know if we can put a constraint on that. Maybe. But I don't think it's really going to matter like on the Prisma end. So, great. So now that we have date options, we can add in here the date option ID. Call it that. String at db.uuid. Just a lot of UUIDs. And so for the key, we'll also add our date option ID. And now we've got the relations. So we're going to have 2 relations. One is going to be the event, so we'll just copy it from here. And then the other is going to be the date option, which is a event date. Oops, this should be option because it's the model. This should be vote. Vote. now I've got things to chase down. Models should be singular. Models should be singular. Tables, plural. Okay. Option. So date option, event date option, and then we have our relation using the field date option ID, which references the ID on update. Oh, that's on delete. On update, we'll say no action. On delete, we will cascade. Save that. And so if we go up on this event date options, so this is the date vote. Oh, yeah. So it will have date votes, just like the location has location votes. And then the event will have date votes, just like location votes. And so we've got all the relations set up. And I think this seems right, to where we can start putting together what the voting sheet is going to look like. We'll have to like put in some data into the database, but we can do that using a seed file. So I think the next thing to do, we'll push this to the database, and then we'll build a seed file that will create an event that has dates and locations. We need to also like create all the locations. So yeah, so a big seed file I think will be the next thing, since we don't have UI written to do all of it. Hui. Okay. Open another thing. Let's do npx prisma db push. And so we're going to push the schema over. Hopefully it's not going to be mad about anything. Created at column on Corgis. This will lead to data loss. I think yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna end up like clearing the database before we do it anyway. So basically, whenever I created the first created at, I didn't specify like what type of column it was, and so I just said I wanted it to be a timestamp TZ, and we have non-production down schema changes. It's just Prisma doesn't know about that because not everybody does. But it's fine. I think whenever it recreated it, it just put now in anyway because that's what we have it defaulted to. So we got everything there. Let's set up our seed file, and I'm probably gonna have to look and see how I did this with another application. So I know that in here I can create a new file, seed.ts, but we need to set up the command that will actually run it, and we can do like Prisma, and I think seed, and then we can give it the command, and then you have to spell Prisma right, that's, and then also you got to make it a string because it's JSON. Prisma. So let's go and look at we'll look at event charity activations. Code dot, because I believe I used the seed file in there. I'm updating this one to where the dev server is going to be HTTPS. That's going to be important for whenever we do change feeds locally. So somebody shared a video on TikTok. That's great. Gotta love those. So here's our seed file, and if we go into package.json, we can see, so here's Prisma seed. Yeah, and so I think I have to install a couple dependencies. But I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna open up a little console here. Let's see. So we need to npm install big D ts node, ts config paths. I think that's it. Let's go back over here and look. ts node config paths. Yeah. More stuff. My cookie's gone. I ate it all. Now I need water. I don't have milk. Okay. So now we should be able to run the seed file. Oh no. Let's do this. X. Alright, don't save. I did the thing where I had it open and I changed it, but I didn't save it, and then I made it do things. TS node, TS config paths. Oh, so let's just replace this. Cool. Everything's fine now. Alright, so now we have the seed command in, so if we do npx prisma db seed, it will run it. And so now we just go over to the seed file, and I think I'm going to copy some of the stuff out. Yeah. So we need our Prisma client. And then we also need to create the Prisma client. I feel like top level await should work in this. So what we do over here is we just create a async function, and then at the very end we call that function. Let's take a look at what we have set up here. This is targeting. Oh, it's still targeting ES 2019. I wonder if they've updated that. Do I still have that open? I'll open it again. So if we take a look at the templates. I'm wondering if they've changed like the TypeScript stuff to use like the ES 2022. I can't remember where top level await came in. Remix templates. Let's see, Netlify, TS config. So it's still saying 2019. Okay, I'll leave it. We'll just assume that we don't have top level await. So we say async function seed, and then we will immediately run it. Seed. Cool. What's your problem? Oh, it's declared never read. Okay, it's fine. Well, we're getting there. Okay, so here are the things that we need to do in this seed file. I'm gonna close this. We don't need that anymore. It's just taking up space. I'm going to close this one as well. So, yeah, we need to create locations. So, let's create the look. So let's create locations, and so we are going to await prisma dot location dot create many, and that takes data says provide data here. Oh, that's helpful. I can't remember if no, it says I'm gonna have to look this up. Prisma data What do you want from me? Name, zip code, ID is active. How do I create many of them? Maybe that thing was wrong. Maybe this is... Yeah, how about that? And we say name is something and zip code is also something. Cool. Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but I got confused by the little help text. It wasn't helpful. So let's start putting them in bull, moose, dog, run. I should have. Okay, let's do this. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9. So I need 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. I didn't. Okay. Here we go. Let's do down, 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 down. Get rid of those. So we've got bull, moose, dog, run, riverside, dog, run. We've got Washington Square Park, dog, run. Tompkins Square Park. Tompkins Square Park, if you like Halloween and you like animals dressed up for Halloween, that's where you should be around Halloween, because they have the Halloween dog pet parade. It's very cool. Hillside. Dog Park. McCarran Dog Park. Triborough. Whoa, wait. Add an extra U in there. Triborough Bridge Dog Run. Hunters. What in the world? Hunters Point Dog Run. You know what? I'm gonna say const locations is equal to, because I'm gonna need to get the IDs so I can create some things with them. And then the last one is Sir William's Dog Run. And then I need something for the zip codes, so I'm just gonna put my zip code for all of them. And then I'll go back and fix it. I'll use that wonderful NPX Prisma Studio to update them all. Cool. So we got locations. Well, it's declared but never read. Okay, fine. Yeah, just give me a time. Give me time. Give me time. So that should create our locations. And once we have locations created, we can create an event. Oh, wait. Do I have any users? Okay, we're gonna have to look at what's in here. Because I just realized that in the schema, when we create locations, we should probably have a do we yeah, let's do this for like, we might not use it, but we will have it. So locations. So these are the locations they've created, which means I need to db push again. Okay. DB push. Should be fine. It's just adding a field to that table. Ooh, I'm not gonna get very far. Gonna have to go soon. Oh, I just did a DB push on the wrong thing. Cool. How about this one? Yeah, let's do it on the Corgis of NYC. And I want to see. Let's do npx Prisma Studio, because I can't remember if I put like the first user in or not. Users. There are no users. Okay. So let's, before we create, yeah, because I've really made it mad. So let's create a user. So create a user, and we're going to do const user is equal to await prisma dot user dot create. I want to do, no, I'm just going to do create. And so it's data, and it takes, oh good, it takes an email, and we'll do devrel at cockroachdb, or no, I'll just do mine. Adrian at gmail.com. First name, Adrian. Last name, Howard. Don't need created at, don't need events, ID, location, password. So let's do password, create hash. It's going to be something. I need to generate a password. So that's where, did I close that? Oh, I did. Okay. Okay, for right now, I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's fine. There's no login page. I'll fix it later. So that will create a user. And now let's say select ID true. This will give me access to the generated user ID, and now we need a created by on these, and it's going to be user.id. Oh my gosh, it's mad about the order. Yes, Z does come at the end of the alphabet. Oh, it's mad about that too. Okay. Oop. Oh, user.id. All right, now this needs to go in every one of them. I'm not really good with, oh shoot. I'm not really good with the multiple cursors. But I do know that you can do this. And we go back, and we paste, and boom. Bob's your uncle. Whoa, there's 2 Q's in that. That's fun. So all of these created by me. Fun. And so now we have locations, and now we need to create an event. Const event is equal to await prisma.event.create data. Oh, I think we need, we do, oh, I don't think we can do selects. Okay, we'll see what it returns. Should be fun. It's a batch payload. Okay. Data. And so we've got a name. We're gonna say test meetup. What else do we need? Is that the only thing that's required? The creator is for some reason. Oh, created by. Why is created by user.id? Remember whenever you would just fix it instead of complaining? Hold on. I think there's something wrong with the schema. Event. There you are. Created by. I don't know why that was. Oh, I think it. Okay, never mind. It was like that because you don't have to specify. Wait. That's very weird. Because that's not. Okay, it's fine. Let's ignore it. Let's continue on. And then we're going to select ID. Oh, that should be true. Okay. So we have the event, we have locations, we need some date options. So let's do const date options is equal to await prisma dot event date option dot create mini. Data, and we're going to pass it an array, and each object is going to take a start date, and I'm just going to make these new dates, an end date. So the start and the end date are the same. New date, we don't have any constraints like. And then we also need the event ID, which is going to be event.id. Yes, you're mad because this comes after this. Cool. Like they're like we're gonna have 3 options, but they're all gonna be the same one. Like they'll have different IDs, so it will still be fine. But I don't know. We're just fix it in post. I think actually I can just do. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this much, and then I can go in and no. So there's our 4 options. for dates, but I can say, I think I can give it a string. I can go 2023 -07. You know what? Sometimes fake data using real data, based in real data, is month. So let's go to July, and we can say the 8th and the 9th. And then the 15th and the 16th. 2023 07 15 20, oh no, 2023 07 16. So that will at least create different days. And we're just gonna make these the same days. Like they'll have the same time, but let's see, 9, 15, 16. They'll be different days. It's fine. Different days. And so that will create date options. And now, okay, except I don't think that's, oh yeah, we got the event ID in there. So now we should be able to create vote. I think that's everything we need to like start mocking this out. Because if we do a vote, you need to have the event ID, the member ID, and we have a way to put members in, so we're good there. The event ID, the member ID, and the option. So we now have. Oh, we need a way to specify which locations. So we need a location options table as well, because we need to specify which options we're going to use for. We're not going to just give them all of the options. We're going to narrow it down to 4. So let's go back over to our schema and where we did. Let's see, event date options. Let's do. Yeah. So let's do model event location options, and we're going to do an at map to start off. This is going to be event location options. Did I do a map on this? I did not. At map event date options. Okay. This is not going to use a UUID for the primary key. We are going to use a table. And I was wondering if I could implicitly do it. And I think I can. So I don't have to like specify this table. Because if I did location options as event as location array, so let's take out this, and then so And then there needs to be... We're going to get into a situation where we're going to have two referencing the same thing. And then you have to give it like a reference name. Which means you have to set up a reference. We'll just set it up. Well. Okay. So we need an event ID, which is a string, which is a db.uuid, and then we need a location ID, which is a string, which is a uuid. And I might research it a little more and try to do it as an implicit, because that's all the information that we need to store in that table. It's just so we can say, give me all the location IDs that are options for this event. And yeah, if Prisma can handle it and we don't need like worry about this, it's fine. If we were holding metadata, like some extra information about, you know, this relationship, then this would be great. So save. Oh, I didn't put the ID in there. ID, and that is going to be event ID location ID. And so if we go up to events, did it? Oh, I didn't do the relations yet. So the location is a location, references, fields, location ID, references, ID, on delete cascade, on update, no action. And I'm going to move these around just because I put these in a certain way. And I just had a thought that we probably do want to manage ourselves, because then we have access to the table. And what we've been doing is putting a row level TTL on these, because we don't need them hanging around. So just going to put this on here. A lot of row level TTL stuff going on. Cool. And then we need to do one more for the event. So this is going to be event, event ID, save. That should be fine. If we go up to event now, it added event location option. We're just going to rename that to location options because it's a array. And so we should be good. So now let's go back over to the seed file. Okay, so we have the event, we have date options. Let's add some location options. So await Prisma dot event. Oh, he says, as any Midwestern would. Oh my gosh. Okay. I said I was gonna stop early. It's not happening. npx Prisma db push, because we need to get that table that we just created over there. Cool. So now we should see dot event location option dot create many takes data, which is an array of objects that has an event ID, which is event dot ID. Oh no, not event target. And location ID, which is going to be, I need to know what this is. Let's say batch payload. So let's see, like locations of 0 dot I thought I was gonna be able to like pull the IDs from it. If I just do regular creates and do a promise.all to create them, then I can get them all back. Well, what do you got, batch payload? Oh, it's that count. So we just have a count of the numbers. Okay. So these things aren't going to work. We just need to do a bunch of creates. All right. I do need to stop. I have to go into the office. But we will get this. Yeah, I'll keep trucking along. Thanks for hanging out and just like talking about, you know, schema for like the last 2 hours. Yeah, I will not be here next week because next week is July 4th and I will not be working. So I will see you in 2 weeks. So we'll either be back to the charity activations app or maybe back to this. We'll see. But yeah, that's it. And TTFN. Ta-ta for now.